So we've been married for, oh my gosh, almost 10 years. And for about 8.5 years, we've struggled with our fertility journey. Obviously, it wasn't something that we thought we would struggle with. It was something that we thought would be super easy. Even in the beginning, we didn't really get a ton of answers. We just knew something wasn't right.
Pretty much anything and everything you can think of, we tried. Kind of a shock, to be honest with you, that I couldn't have kids, but I was kind of resigned to the fact that, well, maybe you're never going to be a dad, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
there definitely were lots of seasons of heartbreaks in our marriage. Yeah, I mean, there were days where we felt like, okay, you know what? Maybe we're not meant to be together. Maybe we should just separate, and maybe if you get with somebody else, you can have a baby, and I get with somebody else and I can have a baby. I mean, there were definite moments like that. Mother's Day were really hard on me. We hadn't gone to Mother's Day service probably for 2 or 3 years. And I remember the week leading up to Mother's Day this year, and Derek had asked me, he said, so are we just gonna stay home this Mother's Day? And I was like, no, I have this peace. I said, let's go to Mother's Day service. I don't wanna miss it. I just have this overwhelming peace. It was God, obviously. He had just comforted me, and I knew in that moment, I just was like, you know what, Lord? It's about you, and that's the bigger picture. Even just us being faithful and showing up on Sunday and saying, you know what, Lord, even though this isn't my story yet, this is going to be my story. I remember one Thrive. I don't know if you remember this. Adam had come up in between songs and he said, this might weird you guys out. He's like, but I feel really led to have our staff wash your feet. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And I thought it was weird. I did. I was like, that's weird. I'm not having somebody wash my feet. And Derek, you were like, no, we need to go have them wash our feet. And so we did, and I sat down. Her name was Marcy, and so she starts washing my feet, and she's like, this is really weird. And she was like, I hope you're not uncomfortable, but I feel like the Lord wants me to pray over you having children. The Lord is just telling me that we need to pray over your babies. And she said, it's not just one baby, it's babies. And so it was just wild. But I mean, there were so many. There was another prophetic word that was spoken to my sister, actually, that she did not tell us for good reason at first, but she was told by another woman in the church that I believe your sister's gonna have a baby, and it's gonna be around Mother's Day that she finds out. Well, we found out the day after Mother's Day that we were pregnant.
after church, we went back home. I started cooking steaks, and that's when she kind of got the rotten meat smell. And
Yeah.
kind of offended because I thought I was a pretty good cook. But her dad said, "Oh, well, you might be pregnant." And in my head, I was thinking,
Yeah.
no, maybe.
Yeah.
So that next day, she still felt kind of sick,
Sick.
and smells were getting to her. I said, just go take a pregnancy test. We had one left in the bathroom. I said, just go take it. All of a sudden, I hear this scream, and the first thing that came to my mind was either someone died or one of our 6 dogs is dead.
Yeah, we do have.
The last thing I was thinking was pregnancy. She come in there.
I know.
Holding it.
And my hands were
And
shaking.
We went through every emotion you can think
Oh,
of
man.
for about 5 minutes.
Laughed, cried.
Laughed, cried,
Shocked.
screamed. And after all that, I said, I'm going to the store
Yeah.
and getting more.
Here we go. We know that the Lord has brought us through so many tough seasons. And one thing that I have learned so much through this is I have probably never been closer to the Lord than when I was crying out and begging to Him in our valley and my grief, our grief and our pain. And I think sometimes in your waiting season, at least for me, that's where I've felt closest to the Lord. If you are in a waiting season, my heart is with you, and I know how painful it is. I just encourage you to cling to the Lord because there's nothing else that's going to get you through. There's nothing else. Again, his timing is impeccable. And I know that's so easy to say when you're on the other side, because I remember hearing people's journeys and just being like, okay, like, of course you can say that. You had the miracle. But I feel like you can't miss out on that opportunity of you know, just being at your most vulnerable and your weakest. And that's what he wants. He wants us to come to him when we're at our weakest, because he is strong. At one point in our journey, we prayed, you know what, Lord, even if we don't have the baby, even if we don't become parents, you are enough.
Yeah.
And he has to be enough. He died on the cross for us, and that is enough for us.
I was thinking, you know, if it doesn't happen, then I'm fine with it. It's his will, but I'm so overjoyed that he answered this prayer, because I just can't even imagine what it's going to be like to hold our child.
No, and she's kicking right now.
She's kicking. There you go.